You look beautiful. Elise, welcome everybody. You are here with Coach Elise and I on, okay, hang on. I'm working on something.
Right.
Here we go.
Got to start that Instagram.
We do have to start that Instagram. There we go. We are live on all platforms. Hi, everybody. Hi, Kat in Maryland. Coach
Good to see
Elise, I am Coach Leanne Parsons. I am zooming in, whatever you want to call it, streaming in, social media
you.
extraordinaire. Right, we're here. I'm in Arizona, so it is 9 a.m. to me. And
Yeah.
Elise, it's so great to be here with
Good,
you.
good to be with you, Leanne. And it's 12. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. So we're at high noon and I'm almost hungry. So,
You're almost hungry. Well,
yeah.
and I am caffeined up. All right, so
Okay.
you're almost hungry, and I am caffeined up. Hi, Betsy. Hi, Joyce. Karen, so glad that you're here to support us. Hey, Instagram friends. Hi, Frida from BC. Well, we love
Pretty
you.
cool.
Thank you
Yeah.
for being here. And
Yeah.
so we are here to talk about something incredibly important.
Yeah.
You know, Leslie just did, right? She just did a live workshop.
Hmm.
And I had the pleasure of joining her for some Q&A this week. And when we were in that live workshop, Elise, what was the name of that workshop? Just for our folks, maybe they weren't there.
Do you know right now? I can't remember what it was because I was doing walking and core strength all day. I didn't get to attend.
Oh, well, that's okay. I remember it said her title was If He Doesn't Hit You, Is It
Oh,
Still
there it
Abuse?
is. Yes. Thank you.
God cares, right? I have my workbook here. I have
Yes.
my workbook here. Okay. And so Leslie did this wonderful workshop, and many of you attended, and some of you are getting ready to watch the replay. And
Hmm.
we're so grateful that you are joining us here because this topic is meaningful for you today about how do we stay well. So we're going to be talking about how do we stay in a relationship with others. It might be your husband, it might be your child, it might be your parent, it
Hmm.
might be a community member or a coworker.
Hmm.
How do you not lose the best of you when you're navigating a relationship with somebody who tries to draw out the worst in you? And
Right.
oftentimes they do.
Right.
I don't know about you, Elise, but there are
Yeah.
some people in my life
Right.
that can bring out Leanne's mean quicker than others because
Yeah.
it's still within me.
Right. Wish we could shed it, but we can't. So that's why this topic is so important. How do I stay well? I've got to pay attention to that. I've got to focus. Otherwise, my natural, i.e., sinful self, will just walk right out, right? And we have to because that's our natural self. It's not our created self, but it is certainly our sinful self. And so, just quickly around that, when I remember when one of my children were small, there, she had lied to me about something. And I was so like, what? I mean, she came up with quite a big story. And I was just like dumbfounded at it. And one of my girlfriends said, Elise, why are you so surprised? I said, I just, for some reason, didn't think she would ever lie to me. I don't know why I would even think that now, as an adult, or just a much more mature adult, having raised children now. But she says, you have to teach her to be honest. Her natural bent is going to be to lie. And I thought, wow, is that true? That is so true. And so, in this staying well process, we have to really think about how we're going to stay well with hard or destructive or difficult others in our life. And no one is immune. No one is immune. And so, many in our population, it is their spouse, but no one's immune from this. And so, and the truth is, their ugly can bring out our ugly. And so that's why this topic is so imperative that we focus on how to stay well. How are you going to do that? And we're going to do a couple things today that we want you to really participate in so that you can make it your own, right?
Mhm. Elise,
So,
thank
yeah, take it from
so
here.
good. Well, so I hope you all have something to write with. We really want to deliver incredible value.
Mhm,
Elise and I love our population.
mhm.
Leslie, thank you for trusting us to go live on your public page here. All these mediums, we are on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And this is Leslie's public page. So we do want to just have you be mindful of that, that whatever
Right.
you type into the chat,
Right.
will be visible and public. If you want to send an anonymous question for Coach Elise or myself, Coach Leanne, please go to leslievernick.com/question/. And our lovely Karen, support gal today, will get that to Coach Elise and I so we can answer your questions after we chat here a little bit about
Mhm.
what staying well looks like, sounds like, tastes like, and feels like to us. And so
Mhm.
if I could, I want us to dive right in.
Mhm.
So staying, I see some of you are saying, even though I'm not staying, you love our ministry. Thanks, Joyce. I'm grateful that you hear nuggets. And so I just want to challenge even our thoughts this morning about staying. Let's just talk about that word first.
I agree.
Okay, Elise. So staying, what does staying mean? What
Right.
does staying mean to you?
Mhm.
It could mean different things to each one of us. Instagram, what do you think? I see we have a whole bunch of our friends in all of our locations. So will
Mhm.
you please interact with us? We love it.
Mhm.
I don't know about you, Elise, but I get supercharged when our community engages with
Mhm.
one another and with us as we're on these lives.
Right. I do too.
And so I think it helps to bring out the best in us. It
Right.
helps to bring out the best in us.
Right.
And so
Let me give a
what is
couple
staying?
suggestions around that. What do you want me to start? Just when I think of staying, it means,
Mhm.
well, I'm not going to leave. I mean, the opposite of it is that I'm not going to leave, but I'm not only going not going to leave. Not going to leave. I'm not going to leave the connection. Right. That there is some level, or I'm not going to leave the commitment, or what would come up for you? I'm not going to leave the connection. I'm not going to leave the commitment. I'm not going to leave maybe the responsibility.
Mm.
That may feel tough. Um, I'm going to stay well. I'm going to stay connected. Just keeps
Ooh.
for me in some way to the best of my ability. And there may be limitations, ladies. I think that that's what we do need to put out there. If I stay, there may be some limitations now, on yourself when you choose to stay. But what does that mean to stay? What do you imply?
Mm.
Staying mean rooted strong, healthy and firm. Yeah.
Love that.
Hmm.
And what else is staying? For me, Elise, I just wrote down, I've got my whiteboard here and I'm making some notes. Okay. So as you were sharing, staying for me, I'm going to break stay. I'm going to
Right.
break stay and I'm going to make an acronym out of it. I'm
Okay.
a wordy. And so I want to encourage our listeners, if you're having a hard time defining what stay is, maybe break it down into an acronym for yourself. All right, so here we go. So stay for me, the S is that I am going to sit here and I'm going to stand up when I need to. Okay. Doesn't mean I'm going to be silent. Okay. So
Mm.
staying
Mhm.
is silent no more. So to stay is not to be silent. Okay. Then my T is I'm going to be truthful. If I'm going to stay, I said this to another coach on our team this week, Elise, that I am not willing to share deep conversations with somebody where Jesus is not at the middle.
Amen. Love it.
Okay. And so then I'm going to stand in truth. So ST, I'm going to stand, I'm going to be truthful. And the A, I'm going to be aware. I'm not going to be blind. I'm not going to have blinders on. I'm not going to Pollyanna or let my blind spots overtake and my need to people please overtake my well-being.
Mm-hmm.
And then the why, my favorite. I'm going to invite Yahweh, my creator God, into every conversation, into my thoughts, into my emotions, and into my relationship with myself. So there's
Mm-hmm.
my stay.
Oh gosh,
Okay, that
that's
was kind of fun. That was so not prepared in advance. That was
right.
being here because of all of you. we're stronger together. Thank you for helping me walk through that.
Right. Yeah. I love that. That was beautiful. Someone earlier said, I'm going to stay with conditions.
Mm.
And I liked that there may be, I can stay, but there may be some limitations around me staying, right? That I'm going to be aware of for myself. And maybe I have to inform another that I can stay as long as it's safe. I can stay as long as something, right? That it may need to be conditional of how otherwise I would be unwise to stay in harm's way, right? He who walks with the wise grows wise, but as a companion of fools who suffers harm. And the prudent see danger and take refuge. And so, ladies, we would never invite you to stay in a dangerous place when you are not safe, right? So maybe my S would be safety.
Safety. Oh, love that, Elise.
Um, and
Safety in a lot of areas, not just physical, right, Elise?
right, right,
This is emotional safety, spiritual safety, sexual safety,
right.
mental safety, even
Finding
your environment. Is your environment safe and building for your well-being?
right, right. And so I think that it is very challenging, maybe not impossible, but I think extremely challenging to stay well if you cannot be emotionally safe with someone, certainly physically safe,
Yes.
verbally safe, financially safe. If your body is always at a heightened state of danger, 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 right? It's not likely you can really and truly stay well. And so I think it's important that we do also define the well piece. Like, what would that really mean? But I'm not quite as fast on my feet as Leanne is with acronyms. She is a wordy and loves it and practices it. So I think safety might be my top one. How about you all help me? Who else would love to join in? A T. What would be our T? I loved Leanne's T, truthful. Like, no more pretending, right? If I'm going to stay, you're going to know me, whether you like me or not. I'm going to be me. I'm going to be truthful, honest, right? Let me think of another word.
Oh, I see. Yeah, trust me. Together, I see. This is so good.
Yes.
Please continue to share with us. What is your T? This is where trust at least a little. Yeah, without safety, there is no trust. And without trust, there is no safety.
Right.
Oh, Kelly's chiming in on, I think, Instagram. Nope, YouTube. Transparency for a T. I'm going to be transparent.
I would say transparent with safety as well.
Indeed.
Right? Right. We don't want to always open up the kimono if somebody's going to weaponize our transparency. So absolutely transparency, be careful, transformational.
Mm-hmm. Teachable. Love it. Teachable.
I'm going to say, well, can I continue to learn? And I think one of the things when we talk about the ladies who are joining Conquer and joining, the classes that we offer and stuff, they're saying they want to be teachable. In this situation that I didn't know I would find myself in, I need to learn. How do I stay well? Because I want to run, girl, run, right? But yet something is in me is saying, I still would like to stay. So if I'm going to stay, I need to stay well. What will that even mean? Teachable. I have to be teachable. I have to know for those who have gone before me. How did they view it? Right? I love that, Anne. I'm getting kind of
beautiful. Elise, you just mentioned Conquer. I'm going to put up the banner here for a minute.
Yeah.
So Conquer is officially open. Conquer is our education and support group here at this beautiful, such a life-giving ministry. Yes. Okay. We only open up Conquer twice per year, and it is open right now. It just opened on Tuesday. We will be open for over a week, and we want to see you there. Mm-hmm. If you are a woman navigating difficult or destructive relationships, we have a seat at the table for you in Conquer. We have over 2,000 women gathering together in a safe, off of Facebook space with a learning portal full of
Mhm.
a wealth of videos, connection opportunities. The content is beautiful, and the
Mhm.
community is second to none for
Mhm.
support. I don't know
Mhm.
how many of you know it, but we have 5 amazing coaches on our team who have all been trained by Leslie, and we
Mhm.
partner together along with our mentors and all the women in our space
Right.
to serve you and to love you well
Right.
as you navigate these relationships. And so
Right.
if you can't see the banner right now, you're just listening. If you go to leslievernick.com/conquer sign up, you're going to find everything that you need to click that button and
Mhm.
join us for a month, a year, the rest of your lifetime, whatever
Mhm.
will serve you at
Mhm.
only $37 per month. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to let our listeners know that if this topic resonates with you and you want more of this good juice, there
Right.
is a safe space to land. What would you add, Elise?
Well, I'd almost add to that stay. I think a word I'd like to put around the S after, is support,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Love it.
It's that, that you need support if you're going to stay well. You cannot do it on your
On your
own,
own.
right?
Woo!
And if it's inside this group or outside this group, let that be a part of, your ability and wherewithal to stay well, is that you have some means of good connection, support to keep you energized and loved well. Because sometimes it doesn't happen inside your marriage or inside this destructive relationship. What level of support do you need in order to stay well? And so anytime that we, are trying hard, trying hard, trying hard, and we keep not being able to be successful, and I'm going to just say, I mean, something that probably many of us have tried at some point, to lose a few pounds, to lose a few pounds. And no matter how hard we try, we can't seem to do it. Let that be a teaching tool for us, that we need further support. By ourselves, we're not able to be successful. So what level of support do I need? Do I need to just get on an Instagram thing and follow it and, read the diet and try it? Maybe. Do I need to actually be going to a class? Do I need girlfriends? Do I need walkers with me? What level of support? Keep going there until you reach your goal, right? So, staying well, yes, I'm going to do it, but I find myself day after day not being able to stay well. Likely you don't have enough support. And so this is going to be a beautiful opportunity for you to garner support with Conquer. And I mean, because again, it's kind of like if we went into a group and we were trying to lose a few pounds, everybody in that group would be trying to lose a few pounds, right? And get a little healthier. So we're all like-minded. So going into this group is, there's certainly differences, but this enormous group of like-minded women that are wanting to stay well, wanting to possibly leave well, but how can I do me inside this marriage the best that God's created me to be? And
Mm.
so, yeah, so support. So
Elise, I just love that so much. And I'm seeing structure. I'm
structure.
seeing temperate for a T, right? Ladies, you are really helping us and you're helping us to grow and expand this conversation. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
And I loved your A for awareness, right? I loved that. Let's maybe move to the A. And I mean, if you're not aware, you're going to be blinded and probably trip up. So open your eyes, be fully aware that we're not going to live in denial as well. And so that we're going to absolutely, know what we are in. No pretending, no denying, walking in that T truth, gaining support, making sure that we're safe. I think we're really trying to teach you, show you, bring to you, and you're getting it. You are there and you are super aware of what it takes to stay well. And it's
Indeed,
it's very possible. Very possible. Let's
it is.
attune.
And yeah, you know what? And I think that we can't shift or change what we're not aware of. And so
Right.
if we're walking in the room with blinders on and we're not seeing the relationship or even a conversation, so the staying well could apply to a conversation, a relationship, an interaction, or a task.
Right. Wow.
Okay.
Repeat that one more time. A relationship, an interaction.
A conversation or a task.
Wow.
So
Beautiful.
can you stay, you were talking about dieting, eating well, all of that. How can I stay well on my plan to rule out sugar? I'm going to need the support to have people walk alongside of me. I'm going to need to have a vision bigger than myself, have desired outcome where I want to go. And Elise, I'm going to have a healthy relationship with myself and stop beating myself up and talking smack to myself.
Right.
So that's another area where I feel like, I get to talk the tea. It could be, I really have an opportunity here to speak truth to myself about who God says that I am,
Right.
instead of that other person or that task or the scale or the mirror.
I'm going to need a jail cell if I get off sugar. Somebody's going to need to lock me up. I can't imagine. Let me
It's
know
so
when that's
hard.
happening to you. I think it's an
Oh,
incredible goal. I just can't imagine. So how do you you have black coffee in the morning or something? A lot of people do that, but for
yeah.
some small period of time, I can't imagine that I would be very kind. So I will have to sequester myself for just a little while, but I'm going to commend you and I will be supportive of you while you do that. That's awesome. That is so
Elise, I
awesome.
love that. And that's, somebody, Lorraine asked in the chat, she said, would this support include personal stories so your support can pinpoint my awareness?
Mm,
Yes. So the Conquer group is so amazing because we have, like I said, over 2,000 women in Conquer. We have a private Facebook page. We have a community portal. We have 2 Conquer calls a month. We have,
mhm,
that are on Zoom where we share stories.
mhm.
And as one woman shares her story, it enlightens another woman, which inspires another woman, which helps another woman see her story more clearly.
Yep.
So that awareness, that A that we're talking about, grows exponentially. And
Right.
then we can even be accountable to each other, right? And so I was just leading one of the Zoom calls that we get to do twice a month
Mhm,
just this week, right? And it was so powerful when we get to encourage the women to report back and tell us, how are you doing?
mhm,
Please let us know that you are safer, stronger, and more clear
mhm.
because of the steps that you are taking. And that is something that we have in Conquer as well, that's unique and beautiful
Right.
in this real sacred space.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's really quite precious. Dare we say the why and maybe move on to well? Let's start with the why.
Let's do it.
Let's move on to the why. Yahweh, Leanne said yes. Abiding might be my A too, abiding in Christ, right? That unless I'm abiding, whew, I'm going to get lost pretty quick. And I
Mm.
love, Leanne, that you really brought in that you're going to be in the company of others who are abiding, that know the Lord and know, and that my conversations are going to be guarded around those who are safe and who can hold my story well. And so let's think of another why. So, we talked about safety and silent no more, um, support, truthful for T's.
Youth. Ooh. So somebody in Instagram gave a youth word. I would love to hear more about that, Jill.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
I would love to hear more when you say youth. Would
Mhm.
love it if you would share a little bit more. When I see that word youth, a Y word, let's see what comes up for me.
Why is it hard?
Well, it comes up as a childlike faith.
Mhm.
So if I am youthful and I am staying, then I would be crawling up in Jesus's lap. I would go right to my Yahweh as a child would. I would look
Mhm.
to his eyes for my worth and value. I would crawl into his lap for comfort. I would make his voice the loudest voice I hear. Okay. So she's answering, waiting on the Lord. So in youth, she is waiting on the Lord. I love that. Waiting on the Lord to restore you. She said it's the verse in Isaiah, those who wait on the Lord will restore their strength.
Amen.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jo Marie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yearning to grow
Ooh.
stronger day by day. Love that, Nellie. I hear you.
Youthful means unburdened. Ooh, and trusting to me. Thank you. Thank you, Nikki. Ladies, you are Rich,
Right.
you're on fire this morning or this afternoon, no matter where you are in the world. So we've given some for stay. Let's move on to well.
Right.
Elise, if that's okay with you. And ladies, you
I'm
can
with you.
continue to type into the chat what comes up for you. So now let's define well. What is well? What is well for you? So our topic, I'm going to show it again real quick. Stay well. Is it even possible? Is it even possible for others not to totally derail you, deform you, and deplete you to the point of you turning into a puddle of glue
Right.
or goo? Glue, not goo.
Good. I like the better. Yeah.
So what about well? If we were to make an acronym for well, oh, here we go. Wise, wisdom, wholeness.
Mhm.
Well is thriving versus surviving. Love it. We are getting our mojo on. What else is your W? Wisdom. What else comes up for you, friends?
This is that place where in my own self, not what comes up for W, but I'm like all of a sudden blank. Right? I know some of you are as well. And so this is why we have Leanne's in our life who really do love and embrace verbiage, language, and use it so richly. I need your anchor. And I'm like, I don't know. Oh yeah. And then I get going. So yeah. So Leanne, just before we were got on, we were really talking about this, and Leanne just writes down well real fast, and she just comes off with all these beautiful words. And I was like, yeah, that's as awesome. And I said, let's do this with the ladies. Let's invite them so that they will know. This will be kind of your takeaway for today, your little prize to, when you leave this, you will have an acronym. I know how to stay well. And is it possible will still be a question, if, and we can not manipulate, massage these words all the time. And right.
Yes.
So that it fits and it resonates and it, you can really carry it. So in those moments where there's a lot of tension and you think, I can't do this, you go, wait a minute, I have a definition of what staying well looks like.
Mm.
I need to reach for that. I need to pull it out. What do I need to do right now to stay well?
Indeed, Elise, I love that. How do I
Yeah.
stay well? Well, and here's the deal. So it's a moment by moment choice. I love that you brought that up, Elise, that we can pull from this strength. And I truly believe, friends, that our words create our worlds. What we think about, what we speak really impact our days.
Yeah.
We have hills and valley days. Anybody else here have hills and valleys in their relationships?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh boy. Oh boy. And so what will we do when the valley seems deep and hard and lonely
Right.
and isolated?
Right.
What will we do? I love Nellie, you typed in that your W is a willingness to go where God is leading you. Chrissy says, knowing who, so her W, everybody do this. Like if you're watching, right? Your W, this is a W. You can always remember, this is a way that you can always remember what well looks like for you. So it could be a butterfly, right? It can be worthy. It can be well, and it can be, right? It can be silly, and it can be very grounding and bring you into a place of reflection and prayer.
I love that.
And so, friends, remembering that God has given you a body, a mind, a soul, and a spirit that he wants to infuse with truth. We don't have hands that do really cool things like make letters on accident.
Right.
And so when we engage, part of wellness for me is engaging all parts of who I am, who God gifted me to be, so that my whole body, my brain, and my spirit can help me to understand wellness in a fresh and new way every single day, every single moment. And if I'm missing part of, if my head is offline and my heart is hurting,
Mm.
then I can go right to the Spirit of God and
Mhm.
He will bring me back.
Right. Right.
He will bring me back.
Yeah.
Walking in the light, wanting to be free from guilt. Karina, we love you. We're grateful that Conquer is a blessing. We've got Conquer sisters here with us. If
Yes, we
you are
do.
a Conquer member and you have gotten benefit from Conquer, put in a word or two. We would love to see that. We love
Mhm.
it. And so, it's really cool that we get to come here on Leslie's public pages and do these lives. There
Mhm.
is so much content inside the private members area that takes this to a whole nother level.
Right.
You think you're getting, so much value here. Imagine what you would be like to have at 3 in the morning, a Conquer library when you wake up. Anybody else get up at 3 in the morning?
No.
Okay, I want to be Elise when I grow up because I still wake up at 3
No,
a.m.
I do wake up. I go back to sleep though. I see what you're
Uh,
saying. Yes. I'm like,
yeah,
but you are an early riser.
I
Even if you
am.
wake up at 3, you wake up. So
I do.
you
Well, I get up at 3. Oftentimes I fall asleep, and sometimes at 3 in the morning, I'm distraught. If I'm on it 100% honest, I don't always wake up at 3 in the morning and fall back asleep. Sometimes
Mhm.
I start overthinking and I forget my worth and
Mm.
I forget my value in Christ, and I
Mhm.
can beat myself up about the way I showed up or I didn't live my values that day before.
Mhm.
And so what do I do then? Am I able to be well? Am I able to be wise? Am I able to go to the word of God and own it? Am I able to walk with others who are desiring that path as well? Am I remembering that others are in the journey with me and I'm not alone?
Right.
And so this is what Conquer offers. Conquer has equipped me, Cherie says, with tools that help me to stay well. And now that I'm divorced, it continues to help me thrive in the Lord. Thank you
Ooh,
for sharing. Not
yes.
everyone in Conquer is divorced. Not everyone in Conquer is separated. Not everyone in Conquer is staying
Leaving.
well
Yeah.
or leaving.
Right.
What I will say, the women in Conquer desire to keep God at the center, to learn what it means to have Him in the center,
Yes.
and to learn what it means to have a relationship with themselves and others
Mhm.
that is safer
Right.
now than it was yesterday. So there's another Y word,
Yeah.
yesterday.
Very good
I will
statement.
not yet let yesterday hold me hostage for what
Right.
God has for me
Right.
today.
Right. Leanne, why don't we go ahead and ask, tell them one more time kind of how to ask a question if they'd like to ask a question. I think some of the ladies that are on would probably want to know, like, how do I stay well and have a question around that. We'd love to answer that. And
Great.
then we will finish up our acronym. And ladies, I would love for you to kind of look up and down the chat and fill in your own stay well. And as we begin to close out our time together, I would love for you to put your stay well. What does it look like? Just type it out and put out the acronyms, and so that you have a little parting gift as we leave today. But Leanne, share with us, / what are all the words?
Sure, Elise. Thank you for that. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
want to keep anonymous, because this is a public page, right?
Mhm.
I want to invite you to go to leslievernick.com/question
Right.
/ and your question will go to Karen, who will get that question to Coach Elise and myself, Coach Leanne, and we will be able to answer your questions. And we do have some questions coming in already. Thank you for those. We
Yeah.
appreciate them. I see you're all continuing to put your words in for each letter. We cannot wait to curate these.
Hmm.
I am super excited. I have my own well, but I'm going to hold mine because I
Yeah.
want to hear yours. I'll
Right.
save mine for the end. But Elise, wow, we have been on 35 minutes. Should we
Right.
get to some questions?
We do. So, ladies, why don't we do this while we're starting to answer some questions? If you would put in, your E, and should we do ELL? And just
Yeah.
let them go ahead and finish. So we'll start answering some questions. But why don't you continue as we talk to write in your own words as you think about, WELL, whatever comes up with you for you in the ELL. Let's write it out and then have it written down for yourself. And then as we get towards the end, we'll begin to see everybody's what they collected up and what their stay well words are. So go ahead. So all right. So your question, let's see. All right. How can you stay well and not absorb the toxicity so that you can function properly? Wow, what a great question. And I think that that's the concern, certainly that the coaches have for you. Can you live in that toxicity? And let me just say briefly that we are limited human beings, right? And no one can live, well with just dripping toxicity in their life. However, Leanne may have a different threshold than I have, than you have. And so we really want you to say, this is so individual. We're not going to compare, well, gosh, this woman stayed 30 years in her marriage. She's never divorced and she's 50 years. And, it's certainly the desire of your heart where you want it to be and not divorced. But that is a question really that only you can answer. And that's why we're coming up with something as simple as these words to say, these are going to be the things that you can. So when this toxicity hits you and the level of frequency in which it hits you and you can tolerate, you can begin to stay well. If not, we talk about leaving well as well. And so we want you to be aware of that. And so how do you not absorb it? I think is a great question, and one that really is very individual. What will you do? Will you stay in another room? Will you shut down the conversation? Will you speak up and say that is you, that is not me? Will you have to get a separate bank account? Will you, right? And we can just go on and on down kind of in the safety plan for yourself. When toxicity comes your way, you can step out of its way. And there may be a place that it is certainly unavoidable. You're in the fishbowl of toxicity. It just surrounds you, right? What will you do to survive? So, Leanne, if help me out if you want to add anything to that as well.
Elise, that was beautiful. And what I love about that is, really be that awareness of how it's impacting you,
Right.
how it's impacting you. And so what will you do? And I think one thing that you can do, if you weren't, so you said, how can I stay well and not absorb? So if you weren't absorbing, what would you be doing? So sometimes here's the deal. We can be so quick to say what we don't want. So you don't want to absorb toxicity. I get that. I don't either. It's icky, right? It feels icky. It smells icky. It's like gross. So if I don't want to absorb it, what do you want to do with the toxicity?
Right.
So for me, because I've been navigating difficult relationships for all of my life, what I have learned that helps me is to observe them, watch, become curious. What in the world is going on inside of them?
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes for me, having a little bit of empathy, and not to the point of destructive empathy that's going to hurt me or enable somebody else. But if I
Right.
can observe their toxicity and know that it's theirs,
Mm-hmm.
it's not mine, and I do not need to wear it like a cloak.
Right.
God has given me, he says in his scripture over and over again, I've been given a coat of righteousness.
Mm-hmm.
And so not absorbing is putting on the full armor of God, remembering I do not need to receive it. I've got the shield of my faith, and I can envision Jesus being between me and them, and that their toxicity has to go through him first before it hits me.
Right.
And that if they are toxic toward me, oftentimes that is stemming from a insecure relationship with Christ. Ooh, I just said that out loud. So ladies, if I can remember that the grounding with Yahweh is everything to remove toxicity, I can observe them and not absorb their toxicity. So I could talk about this for a whole live. We don't have that.
Right.
So thanks for letting me share.
Yeah.
And
Right.
remember, whatever we say, we don't have all the answers. Our
Mhm.
Heavenly Father does. We are
Right.
here to support and encourage and learn alongside of you. And so we get to have the privilege of taking personal responsibility to have a healthy relationship with ourselves and with God. And that's not
Mhm.
anything anyone else can do for you. And that's not anything anybody else can do for me. I love hanging out with Coach Elise. I could do this all day and stay on here with y'all
Right.
and be fed
Right.
from each of you and Coach Elise and Leslie and all the coaches on our team. I also have been given a responsibility before the Lord to feed myself and to go to the Lord for my food. Yeah.
Amen. Thank you, Clean. Oops. Do you want to take the next question?
Yeah. Let me pull it up here. Hi, ladies. I love your videos. Here's my question. My husband is finally taking some steps toward improving his emotionally abusive behavior, but I still feel very numb despite his improvements. Something has shut off in me, and it feels hopeless that I'll ever be attracted to him again. We have 4 small children, and I think staying might be best for them, but it confuses my husband too much. He thinks because he is getting better, I should too. How do I live well in this situation? Not feeling any attraction to him after years of lies and abuse. It's a very heavy burden.
Mhm.
Wow. I hear you. I
Yeah.
feel you. I
Yeah.
see you. Elise, there is so much here.
There is.
We
There is.
appreciate the fact that you're here. I
Yeah.
don't know if you are a Conquer member yet.
Yeah.
If you are not, I encourage you to click the link and find out more about joining our online education and support group. I truly do. Many husbands in our group are taking steps to get healthier. Many are not. You will see a vast array of how women navigate that.
Mhm.
It's understandable that you're numb.
Right. I agree.
And some women might wonder, what is numbing?
Right.
Numbing is scrolling social media for hours at a time.
Mhm.
Numbing is shutting down your emotions.
Mhm.
Numbing is over drinking, overeating, overspending, over shopping,
Mhm.
people pleasing. It can be fawning. There can be many things that cause numbing. You said that something has shut off in you.
Mhm.
My challenge to you would be, what has shut off?
Mhm.
Can you identify what inside of you has shut off?
Mhm. Mhm.
So something that so my husband and I have had hills and valleys in our relationship. I've been married almost 39 years to the same man, and it has not always been rainbows and unicorns. We have struggled and we have been victorious and we have struggled again. Right now, we are working on doing some rebuilding in our relationship, and
Mhm.
both of us are growing at our own pace.
Mhm.
And both of us can get frustrated when we don't see the other taking the steps that we think the other one should. What do we do with that?
Mhm.
One thing that's helped me is to learn to turn the love on, to learn
Mhm.
to turn the empathy on when it has been shut off.
Mhm.
Empathy for me has helped me to see him as a human being and to allow him space. Empathy for myself has allowed for me to give myself grace,
Mhm.
mercy as I learn to heal
Mhm.
and speak up and have different conversations. And so, one way for you to live well
Mhm.
is to dive into empathy
Mhm.
and turn the love on, love for God, love for yourself
Mhm.
first.
Mhm.
And then ask the Lord what he wants you to know about love for your husband.
Right. I love
What
that,
would you add,
Leanne.
Elise? Whew, okay, I'm a little hot right now.
Yeah. No,
I'm
I
having
love
a little bit of a vulnerability hot flash.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one of the things that, and I've picked this up from Leanne, is this observe, don't absorb. And I think that that is a challenging skill, but I think it is a skill nonetheless that you can begin to be very aware of. That I am, I'm absorbing so much, and around this particular question is that, the truth is that now she's probably saturated with absorption of, his toxicity, which is really unfortunate. And I mean, we've heard Leslie even say this, that there is a place that, and I said this really, part of my answer to the first question was, we are all limited.
We
And
are.
so, because I could go further, because Leanne could go further, or I could go less, and you could go further, who asked the question, please let's don't compare.
That's
Please
right.
let's just live in your, the truth and your own capacity. And if you've gotten to a place, it's a bridge too far for you, then I think you need to begin to ask, what does that mean for me? Right? What does
Yeah.
this mean? And Leanne offered beautiful, different options. And you have many, many options with this. It doesn't mean that we walk out the door just because I don't feel this anymore. It doesn't mean that I stay because I can't, no matter what I do, no matter how hard I try to turn it on, I can't, crank it back up. Right. And so I want you to, there's a scripture, Matthew 6:34. It says, don't borrow troubles from tomorrow, because tomorrow has enough of its own. And I think sometimes when we get in this place that days after days after days, or months after months, that we haven't felt compassion or connection or even like for somebody, that will never happen. That's a possibility. That's an option, but we don't know. And so one of the things I would love for you to invite you towards is walking in the truth of today. I know that today I don't feel it. I
That's
don't
right.
know what tomorrow I may feel. With a measure of empathy, I don't know what that may feel like. As I watch him grow, my heart could change. Maybe it does not. And then I need to
Mhm.
say, what do I need to do with that? Right. And so, please have the freedom. And my hope is that any of you Conquer sisters, or those who are interested in Conquer, that we really are inviting you into freedom. As believers,
Mhm.
our hope would be, hope restored in the relationship that you're in, no doubt. But we do walk in the reality of our humanity, that there are places in essence outside of God's movement of no return, right?
Mm.
And we do know that God allows freedom. And so, yeah. And so, please be gentle with yourself. Please
Yeah.
stay in the moment. Please observe, as she has said. Please extend some of the things that God has gifted you with to yourself and then to another. So I think that's all I
Mm.
can say about that. Maybe we have one more. I mean,
Yeah, it was so beautiful. I just want to give a shout out to Instagram real quick. And, we had a post on Instagram that says, I think the lack of respect is part of the shut off feeling. I love my husband as a person, but I do not feel capable of loving him in a
right,
or living with him in a continuing covenant, either
mhm,
living or loving. I'm not sure.
mhm,
But here's the deal. You know, I'm not saying anything about false hope, right?
right,
And
right,
walking, we don't know what tomorrow will bring. All we
right,
know is what we have today. And at least what I love about what you shared, there was so much. But one thing is like, where am I today?
right,
Where am I today? Be fully present in the moment. And that when you're fully present in the moment, not wrapped up in the past or worried about the future, you're able to observe and not absorb a little bit more. And, we can't change another human being.
right,
You can't change your husband.
right,
You can't change him. And if he's going to continue to spew toxicity, that's on him.
right.
That's on him. What I want to challenge you with, are you becoming more aware of the changes that you would like to see in yourself to become the woman God designed you to become, and a woman that you would be proud to be? Are you ready to go there? And that's what we love to do in Conquer, is walk with women into being, no matter what their situation is, to becoming the woman that God designed you to be. And let your relationship with Christ form the foundation in which you navigate
Mm-hmm.
the life that you're living right now, the positive, the negative, the healthy, and the unhealthy.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Leanne. Colleen filled in she put down all her words. She set boundaries, transformation, access, block
Mm.
access, yeah, yield to God's will. Her well is wise. Be wise in my choices. I love that. Be wise in my choices. Yes, we have choices. Evolve to a better version of myself. I'm going to stay well. Colleen, I love this. Lean on God always. Whoops, and learn to listen to hear God's voice. I love this. And so, ladies, if you would begin to do that, just kind of fill this out as we answer some questions. We would love to read these at the end. And so, what a gift it is to you to say, yes, you can stay well. If you're going to stay well, we got to know it's
What does
going to
that
be.
look like?
These are the keys for it to be possible for you, right? Maybe not possible for Leanne or not possible for me, but possible for you, or impossible, right? It belongs to you. It doesn't belong to any of us. None of the coaches, Leslie, our pastors, it doesn't belong to them. It belongs to us to make that decision, right? God has gifted us with agency and autonomy to hear his voice, to know by his spirit what we're to do. And so let me answer a few more questions if I can. I think some of these are a little bit challenging. I've trained to stay well this past year in E2C and in core before that. Very helpful, but after 20 years of indifference and feeling like his ministry job is the other woman, I feel like I'm hitting the same wall over and over again, and that if I don't leave, I might not be able to get up this time. When do you know that staying is no longer the best option? I would almost say you've answered your question. That when you're saying, I feel like if I stay, I'll never get up again. I am going so low because I am living with a third person, i.e., his work, whatever it is, right? In the marriage. And I'm dry bones, having never been attended to. All the attention goes somewhere else. And staying well may not be possible. Right? And my hope is that you hear us really extend no pressure. This belongs to you and you alone, between you and the Lord. And if your body is informing you, please pay attention. When your body, your thoughts are beginning to say, I can't get up again. I'm lifeless on the floor.
Yep.
I don't know if I can return to the self that I want to be. That's a lot of information. I'm not going to instruct you what to do. I'm just going to say you are well informed. What will you do with the information that your body, your thoughts, your feelings are informing you? What is your, if you've been in E2C and core, what are those core words? Right? What reach back there? What is your core integrity? How is it supporting you? Leanne.
Elise, that's so good. And, when you said you feel like you're hitting the same wall over and over again, and that you're afraid you won't get up, you're not staying well. Can I just say that?
Yeah.
And so this is where you really leaning into the Lord right now, sister. We are so for you. We are so for you. So I'm grateful that you're acknowledging and owning the fact that you're hitting the same wall. That takes so much courage to do that. And so then what, like Elise said, what will you do with the information that you have now? And did you do your acronym for staying well? So you are clear on what it looks like for you.
Right.
And so as you do this reflection, as you do this, coming up with your acronym,
Mhm.
if you are being harmed in your relationship
Mhm. Mhm.
and you are being diminished, destroyed, and depleted to the point where you're getting deformed,
Mhm. Mhm.
then it's time for a shift.
Mhm.
And maybe that shift is diving more into the conquer. You've got to get safe, girl. And so
Right.
emotionally, it doesn't sound like you're feeling safe emotionally. And
Mhm.
so emotional safety plan. And we talk about that in Conquer. Safety is one of our paramounts that
Right.
we really dive into. And, somebody asked on Instagram, Elise, they said, are you promoting the idea of staying? What we're doing right now in this place is
Mhm.
exploring what staying well might look like, sound like, taste like, feel like.
Right.
I want to just say something very clear. If you are in an abusive situation where your life or your lives of your children are in danger,
Mhm.
run. Call 1-800-799-7233. It is the national hotline for domestic violence. It is never okay to stay and be
Right.
abused. God does not want you to stay, whatever that looks like.
Right.
All acronyms aside, if you
Right.
are in physical danger, you have been physically abused, or you are being abused to the point where you can't get out of bed because you are so distraught, then it's
Right.
time for a safety plan.
Right.
Immediate. Hang up. Don't even be on this live anymore. Get
Right.
safe. And so I just
Mhm.
felt like I really needed to share that. Elise, I've gotten calls from women in their closet, friend,
Yeah.
ministry leaders
Sure.
who have been silent for so long.
Right.
That is not what we're talking about. So I just wanted to make that really clear. I'm super passionate about your safety.
Right. Absolutely. And I think, are we promoting staying well? I think we want to be able to open that up as an option and as a choice for you. Promote it. I don't know that that's the word I would use, but that's why we're saying staying well. Is it even possible? And I would actually put for you at the end of that sentence. Is it possible for you? Because we don't know, right? But we would like to say, can you look at this option? And if you are staying, we know that there are a lot of women that are staying. They're not well. They're going down and down and down and down and more and more and more depleted. So we want to absolutely bring to the table, if you're going to stay, let's don't just stay and survive. Let's stay well. Let's thrive. Is that even possible? And that's the question for you, not necessarily for us.
Mm-hmm.
You have to answer that question, right? And so we just want to say, look at these options, develop for yourself. What will that mean? And we just did it in a somewhat of a fun and lighthearted way today to stay well. Think up beautiful words that are meaningful to you that you can look at and say, whoa, I'm not coming close to that. What does that mean for me? Or like, you know what? I would love for it to look kinder or sweeter or more connected or more intimate, but I'm okay, right? It may not have been my dream. I can grieve that, but I don't need to leave. And here's some reasons why, right? And so, yeah, I mean, we want to promote the possibility. We're not promoting it as the only option.
Right.
Right.
And, yeah. And what I love about that, Elise, is so much, so much. So again, Conquer is open. We're almost at the end of our time. Conquer is open for a very limited amount of time. Okay. So join us at leslievernick.com/Conquer sign up to find out more information. It will close. It's only open for a few days and then it will close again. So we can we can love on you, we can serve you well. All right. So here is something else I just really I don't even know what I was going to say. Never mind. I don't know. I had something, but I wanted to make
It was
sure
good. It was
people
good.
know where to go. God knows exactly. And oh, this
Yeah.
is what I was going to say. Continue to populate what
Yes.
staying well is in the feed.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
If you're watching this on replay, we're so grateful that you're here. Continue to have this conversation. And then the next step you can do around your acronym is you get to scale yourself from 1 to 10 on this word.
Oh, I love this.
Am I
Yeah.
aware? How aware are you? 1, you're not aware at all. 10, you're so aware that you've got 5 sets of eyes. Okay. So then as you do these, as you come up with your acronym, you get to do some self-reflection and see how are you doing in that. And that will show you the areas in which the Lord wants to raise you up.
Mm-hmm. Jenny gave us a good parting word here. This group is about getting well, no matter. If you stay or leave, getting well, God helps you decide. I love that. Thank you so much.
That too. Thank you, Jenny. And I often say whether you stay well or leave well, you can be well.
Right. Amen. I
And
love that.
on that note, Coach Elise, au revoir, friends. Elise,
Yeah.
it's always a delight
I
to
agree.
work with you. Thank
Yeah, I
you,
agree.
everybody, for joining us here. We will see you
Next
on
week
our next Facebook Live,
with
Friday,
you.
April 12th. The topic is, are you afraid to tell people the truth?
Ooh,
Ooh,
that's a
I
good one
love
too.
that. Are
All
you
right.
afraid? So we'll
Sounds
see you
great.
on Friday. Take good care, friends. God
Thank
bless
you.
you. We love you.
I have a client. I need to step off. I enjoyed every minute of it. Take care.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon.